Howdy, partners. Welcome again to the Video Cowboy.
Out of the clear blue of the western sky comes Sky King.
Ah, Sky King. Who could forget Kirby Grant, who played Sky King? Sky King lived on a ranch outside of the town of Grover, Arizona, the Flying Crown Ranch. And he lived there with his niece, Penny, and sometimes her brother, Clipper. Penny, played by Gloria Winter, was the epitome of 1950 cute.
What are you doing, Penny? Flying the race all over again?
Well, I was just seeing how I could have done it better.
Oh, you did great, honey. I couldn't have flown that course any better myself.
No kidding?
No kid.
Say, Uncle Sky,
Yeah?
do you remember when I caught my very first marlin?
Oh,
And Kirby Grant first went to Hollywood as a singer, had a rich baritone voice, a handsome guy. He was also an accomplished violinist. Now, after he became Sky King, he embraced the role. Matter of fact, there is some concern that whether or not he was actually a pilot. We'll talk more about that a little bit later. But let's get back to the third star of that show, and that was the airplane called the Songbird. Now, there were actually several planes used as the Songbird. The first one was a Cessna T-50. And airplane guys call this the bamboo bomber because apparently it has a wooden frame. But then a guy named Bill Ferguson, who worked for Cessna, figured out it'd be a pretty good idea if Cessna started providing the airplanes for Sky King. Well, the first one they provided was a Cessna 310B, and most of the flying in the show was done by this Bill Ferguson. They shot a lot of stock footage. He'd bank right, then they'd shoot him bank left, and this was a lot of air-to-air photography, and for that reason, of course, they had to have two airplanes. So they shot all of this stock footage that they could use in the program from time to time. It was alleged that Kirby Grant was also a pilot. Here's the interesting story. His son, Kirby Grant III, said that he flew with him many, many times. And Bill Ferguson himself said when they would change 310s that Kirby Grant could fly it professionally. And Gloria Winter said he had been flying since 1929. He had applied to be a pilot in the military, but they turned him down because he was colorblind. But oddly enough, there is no record of the FAA ever issuing a license to Kirby Grant. But partner, he finally ended up in Florida in 1970 and eventually became the head of public relations for SeaWorld until a fateful day in October of 1985. It was October 30th, 1985, and it was the last successful launch of the Challenger spaceship. And many of the astronauts had talked and said that their first introduction to aviation came through Sky King. Many of them became flyers because of watching Sky King. So the astronauts decided that Kirby Grant would be an honored guest at the launch of Challenger. Well, early that morning, Kirby Grant jumped in his car and was driving from his home near Orlando to the Kennedy Space Center. And there was an accident, and his car ran off the road and into a canal, and he was killed. So Kirby Grant, Sky King, flew out of the clear blue western sky and into our hearts forever. Hasta la vista, vaqueros, Wranglers. I'll be seeing you.